I know what it's like to be banned from social media. So when MyPillow CEO and ex-crackhead Mike Lindell was kicked off Twitter in early 2021, I decided to help. After my prayers for a retaliatory ransomware strike against the entire internet went unanswered, Jesus instead sent me an angel, Parkland school shooting survivor David Hogg. Seemed David disagreed with the politics of Mr. Lindell and was determined to put him out of business with a competing pillow company called Good Pillow. A pillow war had been declared. I wanted in on this crusade, so I launched my own pillow company to bring down David Hogg once and for all. I called it the Elizabeth Warren Pillow Company, and my business strategy was based on the political schemings of Senator Elizabeth Warren. First, I befriended David Hogg, masquerading as his ally in the battle against our common enemy, the MyPillow guy. A truce was reached, but behind the scenes, I used my growing influence to split our shared customer base and funnel sales away from Good Pillow. With faith in their brand shaken, I shut down the Elizabeth Warren Pillow Company and threw my full support behind MyPillow as the only sensible choice left. Together, we sent a message to this plucky young upstart. You don't go stomping around the country with your wild ideas, getting people worked into a frenzy with promises you can't deliver. Faced with slumping sales and under growing pressure, David Hogg stepped down from Good Pillow. His pillow war had ended in unconditional surrender. After the feathers cleared, I naturally expected to graciously accept a board position within the MyPillow Corporation. I looked forward to working with Mr. Lindell, whom Jesus had chosen to corner the pillow market as he installed his hand-picked dynasty to rule the bedding industry forever. But it seemed Mr. Lindell had other plans. Despite my unflappable loyalty, no offer was made. My foolproof plan had failed to live up to its name. Seemed the Elizabeth Warren Pillow Company had been used up, tossed aside, and forgotten. I fell into a vicious cycle of self-medication and acts of debauchery, but I bounced back quickly and vowed to use my blasphemous transgressions to help heal other sufferers. 6 months later, I opened a brand new, state-of-the-art recovery facility, Eberly Wellness Center, in beautiful northern Alaska. As a former avid crack smoker, I was all too familiar with Mr. Lindell's recent erratic behavior. Drawing on my vast expertise, I had no choice but to downgrade his condition from ex-crackhead to crackhead. A team of Eberly Wellness Center bounty hunters were dispatched immediately for an emergency intervention, as Mr. Lindell's delicate frame of mind left him unable to care for himself. His consent for admission was not necessary. He was quickly located wandering the streets of southern Minneapolis, shouting baseless accusations at passersby. In a bizarre display, Mr. Lindell questioned his own fitness as CEO of MyPillow, claiming the selection process had been fraudulent, despite having appointed himself. He was clearly cracked out of his mind. For his own safety, Mr. Lindell was prodded with a mild electrical current. Our team quickly helped him into one of our luxurious Eberly Wellness Center armored passenger vans and secured him to the reinforced interior. A soothing, protective transport hood was placed over his head and sedatives were administered. He slept peacefully the whole way to his new home. Mr. Lindell was carried through the reception and examination processes and transferred to our sleep therapy wing. We've developed the safest, medically induced coma ward in the state of Alaska. To ease him through the transition process, Mr. Lindell has been lulled into a state of hibernation. This initial 12-week detoxification period will allow us to pharmaceutically bypass the worst of his symptoms, all while his head is cradled gently by a comfortable, therapeutic MyPillow. Based on his comatose ramblings and previous outbursts, our official diagnosis is that Mike Lindell is half crazy and half stupid. This is a particularly difficult ailment to combat, as sufferers are resistant to treatment due to their own idiocy. But Eberly Wellness Center has risen to the challenge. When he regains consciousness, Mr. Lindell will be tended to by our friendly, battle-hardened staff. An entire squad of counselors will employ an exhaustive schedule of rigorous treatment methods. Under pressure this intense, everyone heals eventually. To Mr. Lindell's family, who may be concerned at their lack of communication with our patient, we ask that they please remain patient. During this fragile initial phase of recovery, visiting hours have been drastically reduced. Our treatment regimen is most effective when our inpatients remain isolated from the outside world. As Mr. Lindell's caretaker and now sole beneficiary, I have assumed the position of acting MyPillow CEO until such time he's deemed mentally capable of re-entering society. Unfortunately, our clinicians have prescribed a long-term treatment timetable, and Mr. Lindell is expected to be away from his duties at MyPillow for quite some time. I will now address my newly acquired staff. A new pillow hierarchy has been ushered in. Mr. Lindell was a liability. His clueless proclamations and boisterous paranoia were a public embarrassment. The last thing a good Christian company like MyPillow needs is a crackhead for a CEO. Jesus would not approve. Ladies and gentlemen, is someone in your life having difficulty sleeping or interacting with reality? Eberly Wellness Center has partnered with MyPillow to make our inpatient experience as restful as possible. Space is limited, so commit your loved one to an indefinite residence now at my Patreon page. Link in the description below. You'll sleep well tonight. Thank you.